Hey y'all, so I've already done my foundation and I've done my concealer, and I was going to set it, but then I kept thinking on Christmas Day, which is kind of like what this makeup look is. It's nothing too original, it's what pretty much everyone does. Just I wanted to do my own take on it just because I kind of want to practice for Christmas and see kind of like what I want in my look, what I don't like, and maybe just see kind of like how heavy my makeup needs to go kind of thing. For Christmas, we're obviously going to be taking tons of pictures. Just this will not be the look in all of our Christmas present opening. Excuse me. But I will be cream contouring that day, which is why I didn't set all the rest of my face. And I'm going to be using the e.l.f. palette. And, okay. So, in one of my last videos, or maybe I won't have posted that one yet, I don't remember. I think I posted it already. I pick up this ashier shade, and then I kind of mix this in like the places where I want it to be the darkest, as well as around my forehead. So, I'm just going to end up painting this. My lighting is literally the worst. So I blended all of this out. Please ignore my man burns. I have to put them off again. I'm just gonna set my whole face with my Coty Airspun powder. I just bought like a whole new thing. So there's like this huge tub that keeps spilling out everywhere because for some reason in that packaging, it will literally coat everything that you have in the powder. Anyway, so I'm just going to coat my whole face, and then we'll be back to do the rest of the makeup. Okay, so I'm all mattified and nothing is going to move. So I'm going to end up, I actually got this in my BoxyCharm. Sorry, something on my finger. Ignore my nails, they need to be done. I actually got this in my BoxyCharm, and it's actually really, really good. This is the Bronze Essentials by Beauty Basics. I've never even heard of this brand. Honestly, I really wasn't that excited about it until I used it, and then it was like one of the best bronzers that like I've ever seen on my skin. Like it blended effortlessly. And I'm gonna take this I'm gonna take this like middle shade right here, and I don't think that they have names on them. I never saw any, so I'm just gonna take the darkest one, and these are incredibly warm toned. They'll be very gentle. And for those of you who are really pale, it most likely will show up orange on your skin. Just kind of gives you that really like flushed tan look, and it blends so well. When I saw the price of this, I think this whole thing, these are not cheap. I want to say this whole thing was like, I want to say it was like $40 for this little package. And when I saw the inside of it, I wasn't that thrilled because it has like these gold bars, and it's kind of a weird situation. Like, it's pretty, but it's like extremely gold. So it's not really like a highlight that you can use. It's just supposed to it's just supposed to kind of add to the bronzer, I think, to make it a little bit more glowy, but I don't really want like chunky, glittery, just no. Today I am going to use the Burt's Bees blush. Ever since Kathleen and Light started talking about this and I kept seeing it, I kept wanting to try it. And this is the Burt's Bees blush in Toasted Cinnamon. And I got this little blush brush also in my BoxyCharm. And it's actually really, really good. It's very like dense, but I'm finding that I kind of like dense blush brushes. I feel like they apply and blend better than the really loose ones, because it seems like the loose ones sometimes kind of stamp on the color and then they don't blend out because they're so, the bristles are so loose. To start off in my crease, I'm going to be taking the Sephora Pro Warm palette, and I'm going to pick up the shades Ochre, which is this yellowy shade. I'll show y'all this. I'm going to be picking up this Ochre shade right here. So you can tell in the shade below, I kind of dug my finger through it. And I'm just going to kind of lightly buff that in the crease. Working in tiny circular motions once I get out the outside. I'm actually not really dragging that crease color in at all because I already know that that can get really dark really fast, and I really want to build up this outside first. Now I'm going to pick up the shade Terracotta, which is this shade right here. Sorry, I'm trying not to get y'all with the mirror, but this palette is so big I can't really cover up the mirror with my hand. And I'm just going to be taking this very tiny little amount and just buff that in the crease as well. That's considerably darker. These things are extremely pigmented, so don't go in with like a super heavy hand. I am going to put a tiny bit of concealer down, and I'm going to do kind of like a half cut crease. I just kind of want to see what it looks like, and I'm just going to dab like a little tiny dot. I don't want too much to cover up any of the rest of it. And a trick that I learned from Nicole Guerrero, she said to look up and have the concealer like dot kind of like where your crease is, so that when you open up your eyes you still see it. I have hooded eyes, like that's a trick for hooded eyes. And just gonna be taking one of these really precise brushes. Make sure it's, yeah, that one definitely has green on it. Alright, so I'm gonna be taking one of these, and I'm just gonna kind of smooth that over, trying to make it as precise as possible. Okay, and I may not have put enough concealer on, so I'm actually going to dot on just a tiny bit more, because I have a feeling that it's just going to act like normal, because I barely put any concealer on. But it's better to put on less than you need than more, because you can't always take things off. I'm going to take a flat shader brush, and I'm going to pick up that shade Copper, which isn't actually copper. It is completely gold. And I'm just going to pack that all over where we just put that concealer. I'm going to take one of these Anastasia brushes because this works so well in one of my last videos. And I'm picking up, first I'm going to pick up the shade Clay, which is like a little bit lighter brown. I'm just going to focus this on the outside. Okay, and I'm actually going to flip it over to this other side and pick up a darker brown. I'm taking up the shade Burnt Umber. It's kind of like a dark reddish brown. And now to work slightly on the lower lash line before I add, I will be adding a little tiny bit of black in this, just because. And I'm going to be picking up those shades ochre first to kind of blend it down on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to pick up the shade Clay. And then I'm going to buff a little bit of Burnt Umber down there. And then with a much, much smaller brush, I'll be going in with a tiny little bit of black. But before I do that, I'm picking up a tiny bit of ochre as well as sandstone. And I'm just going to buff that a little bit in the crease. I'm going to take that little tiny end and just dab into Obsidian, which is the black shade. I'm barely making a tiny little crease, or not a crease, but like just edging the very, very, very corner in that black, and then I'll just buff it out with the fluffier side. I'm taking a very, very thin brush. I'm just gonna take that black kind of right up under my lash line. And I like this gold, but for some reason something's bothering me about it. So I am gonna be really extra and use another palette. It's not the same gold as I was kind of imagining, even though I kind of already blended everything. I'm gonna pick it up. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I'm picking up that shade. I want to say it's called Queen. I think I've used it multiple times. And it's just a little bit the same, but a little bit more like white gold almost. Just gonna pack that over. Because we've already got this Jaclyn Hill palette up, I'm going to take another really, really small brush. This is like an eyebrow angled brush or something. And I'm going to paint. I don't have any idea what the name of this one is. But I think it's supposed to be like a dupe for Nylon from MAC. I think that's what that one is. I recently got some MAC eyeshadows for my kit. And that's kind of what it's reminding me of. And I'm just going to highlight the inner part of my eye. paint a little bit under my brow bone, even though I literally have not done my eyebrows in like 3 months. I mean, that's a overstatement. It's been like 2. I'm going to finish up with some eyeliner and some lashes. Either mascara or fake. I'm not really sure yet, because I think on the day I'll probably end up wearing fake eyelashes. And then I'll be back. Okay, so I went the full tilt boogie and I put on the most monstrous eyelashes. So I'm just going to line my lips with NYX Ruby. I'm gonna go in with my favorite Christmas red. This is the shade that I had in my giveaway a little while ago, and this is in the shade Lady Balls. And this is the finished look. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Merry Christmas.